everyone, to the latest edition of Senior Showcase, and the College Edition, and I am privileged to have a 2016 grad of Prairie Ridge, Renee Santi. How are you, Renee?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. And just so everyone knows, it's almost like we're dealing with her being in Europe. We've got a slight delay in our conversation, so hopefully we won't step on each other. So now, Renee,
Sounds good.
if you wouldn't mind to just take a minute and tell everyone, where did you graduate from and what you've been doing the last 4 years?
Yeah, of course. So I just graduated 2 weeks ago from the University of Kansas. I moved out there right after high school graduation in August. I actually went in as pre-nursing, so I always wanted to be a nurse. I thought that was my calling kind of thing, and then I realized that that was not for me. I did not like blood. I did not like all the kind of grosser stuff that goes along with nursing. So then I changed my major to elementary education, and I did that my junior and senior year, and I student taught, did clinicals and everything, and fell in love with it. So now I'm going to be a first grade teacher at South Elementary in Crystal Lake, and I'm so excited. And I'm really happy to have moved home. I'll pay off some loans and things here, and I've always loved Crystal Lake, so that'll be great. And being with my family again, so that'll be fun. And a lot of my good friends are moving back here too, so that's exciting.
Oh, well, that's terrific. Congratulations on that. It's got to be really cool being in the same district you went to school in, right?
Oh yeah, that was always a dream of mine. I'm so lucky to have this opportunity.
Now, do you happen to, are there any teachers or staff at 47 that you actually knew when you went to school here locally?
Um, at my school, I am not familiar with any of the teachers. There are a few teachers that really helped me get this job and these opportunities. So that was really awesome from other schools in the district. But no, I actually am not familiar with anyone at South. So it'll be a new experience, new people. I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, since we're talking about you being an elementary school teacher now, walk us through kind of what happened that you made the transition from nursing to elementary ed, and then kind of where you student taught, and then how you eventually ended up at
Okay.
South.
Okay, yeah. So making the transition to elementary teaching was kind of a no-brainer. At one point, I was like, I wanted to work with pediatrics at first with nursing. So I was like, what can I do with kids? I've always loved kids, being a nanny. I did swim coach, all of that. So I was so excited to find something to do with kids. And I was like, oh, teaching, duh, hello. So I did the practicums and the clinicals at first. And then that's when it really clicked, because I was kind of unsure. I was always like, oh, let's try this. I never really saw myself as a teacher. But then once I began actually doing it, I fell in love with it. And I did all my student teaching in Kansas City. So it was like an hour from Lawrence, in where I lived. And so I drove there every day, and it was just amazing. I did 4th grade and 2nd grade, and I absolutely loved both of them. I had amazing mentor teachers. I actually worked with a special ed teacher too, so I got to do that for 8 weeks. So that was really exciting. I learned so much from all of them. And then with South, I just was applying everywhere, applying to D47 as that was my goal. And then I got a couple interviews and things. Some didn't work out, which was okay. I knew I was going to find my place. But then I got an email, and I remember the day they called me back for like a second interview. I thought they were calling me back to say that I didn't get the position. So I was so excited when they said they wanted a second interview. And then it was with the other 1st grade teachers. So then I was able to kind of woo them over, I guess. And then they called me that night and offered me the position. So I was so excited, and I just can't describe how lucky I feel to be in District 47. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrific. Now, did all this interviewing process happen during the quarantine, or were you able to do some of this prior?
No, actually, it was all during quarantine, which is really lucky because if all of the quarantine kind of didn't happen, I would have had to fly back here like multiple times for all of the interviews because they really want them in person. So to have them over Zoom, they were kind of awkward at times because obviously you can see like we get cut out sometimes and things like that. And there was multiple people on the Zoom, but it was almost a blessing in disguise having them over Zoom. And it all just worked out. And I think I had 3 interviews with the school, and yeah, they were all over Zoom, and it worked out. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yep,
So now you can
quarantine,
get,
we're good.
so now you could give your secret. Now be honest. So did you have like notes taped behind your computer screen to remember certain points to
I
touch on?
totally did.
Yeah.
Yes, I completely did. They were right on my mirror.
No, and that's smart.
That's so
I
funny.
think
You
everyone
totally
does
caught
that.
me. Yeah.
So, so then going back to your junior and senior year at PR, what made you tell me about your process in trying to figure out what college you wanted to go to, and what were some of the other schools in the running, and how'd you end up at KU?
Yeah, so actually, my best friends, Hunter and Hannah Martin, they got me interested in KU. I had never really heard of it, and they're like, it was beautiful, and they visited. So then I was like, I'm interested in this. I looked online, everything. They have a great scholarship for Midwestern or Midwest schools, so that really got me interested, of course, to save some money. And so I applied there. They are very quick at letting you know that you got in. So that was a plus. That was really fun to hear right back from them. That kind of boosted my um, self-esteem in a way.
Yeah.
And then I looked at Ball State and, oh, there was a Michigan school. But I don't remember what it was called, but I did not like that school. Ball State was pretty too. But then when I got to Kansas, I just fell in love with it. I think that they originally came to one of the like meetings that they would hold for us for the seniors and juniors, I think, could go to. And once me, my mom, and my sister went, it was just a beautiful school. It was so clean, so fresh. The environment was just amazing. All of the people were so down to earth. It was just overall amazing. And I instantly fell in love with it. I really never thought that you would just know, and it just clicked right when I got there. I was like, I know this is where I want to go. It was a little further than I planned because it's like 8.5 hours away. And I knew I wouldn't be able to just come home whenever I wanted. But I got used to that really quickly freshman year, and my mom was always a phone call away, so that was really important to me. And I used that a lot, definitely. But yeah, KU is an amazing school. It's so beyond beautiful. I miss it already. So yeah.
Boy, you should be a spokesman for him now.
Yeah, I could be.
Now, tell us about, because I know I visited campus with one of my kids too when I was looking at it, and the one thing that surprised me about Lawrence and the campus was how hilly it was, and it's not the
Yeah.
easiest campus to walk, right? I mean, you can't like walk from one end to the other because those hills will give you a heck of a workout. So tell us a little bit about the layout of the campus.
Yeah, so there are a ton of hills. You think Kansas, you think flat, like corn everywhere. That's also what I loved about Kansas or campus. It was so hilly. And actually, there are kind of secret ways around the hills. Like freshman year, we would just walk through a neighborhood, a beautiful neighborhood, just right onto campus. So we kind of avoided some of the hills, but other hills you really can't avoid. But they always say you can tell the difference between the senior calves and the freshman calves because of the amount of time. Yeah, so that's really fun. I actually love the hills because we love going on walks all the time. So it's a little workout, and I don't know, it's just so beautiful. The whole campus is unreal. So I never really minded the hills, but they are sometimes pretty hard when there's some high humidity. So
Sure. So tell us a little bit about, you get on campus as a freshman. What did you do to get assimilated into campus culture, and how did that transition go for you?
Yeah, well, when I went, we had, I think, 8 or 9 PR graduates that also went with me to Kansas. So we kind of all stuck together at first and formed our own friend groups with people on our floors in the dorms, which was amazing. Blessing in disguise. Still best friends with most of those people. And KU threw a lot of kind of freshman gatherings for everyone. There was free t-shirts, free food, kind of clubs you could sign up for, kind of little festival things, and just to get more accustomed and everything. And then our RAs were really involved. At first, we had a meeting all the time. Our floors would have group me's, so they would hold little meetings for us all the time and help us get accustomed, make sure that they knew that they were there for us. And then, of course, my parents were always a call away, so that definitely helped because I was definitely homesick at first, but you just get used to it. You find your group of people, and they're there for you through the ups and the downs, and KU was there to support us. So that was really awesome especially to have some PR grads too that were also there to help support.
I know, and what's interesting is here you were the homesick one and you survived all 4 years, whereas I do know that a number of those KU PR kids ended up transferring or going to other schools after all that, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're very right. Freshman year was definitely a little rough for me, but yeah, I made it through. I'm still there, graduated, but yes, and I definitely do miss the ones that did transfer. We had so much fun freshman year. That was probably one of my favorite years, even though it was probably the hardest. But yeah.
So tell me about the social life. You've got certain campuses where football is big. We won't pick on Kansas, even though we know football's turning around and getting better. And basketball is
Little.
obviously real huge there. So tell me, what were the things? What was there still tailgating going on? What were the social activities that you really latched onto freshman year?
Yeah. Definitely tailgating was so fun. Even though we're not the best at football, we still did all the tailgating and all the fun. And yeah, we might have not gone to the games, but we could have for free probably. So that was really fun. Um, Basketball, obviously a huge thing at KU. We would get a camping group together and we'd wake up at 6 a.m. and walk down and we pulled numbers, and that's kind of where you sat at the game and got closer or further away. So that really brought some of our close friends together too. So that kept us going freshman year for sure. And then, yeah, the social aspect at KU, we really kind of went out. And I know a lot of people do the sorority, fraternity parties and everything. We didn't really do that as much because we had a lot of guy friends that weren't in the fraternities. So we kind of just did our own thing. And yeah, the nightlife there is amazing. And it really helps you get accustomed with other people too, because there's just like a little triangle of where you'd go. There's 3 places, and that's where everybody was all the time. So it was really fun.
So what are
Definitely,
so
I'll
what
remember
are
those forever.
what are those 3 places for any incoming Jayhawks?
Yeah, so they're called the Hawk, the Bull, and the Wheel. They're all right on the same row of, so it's just like a little triangle. That's what it's called.
So these are just hangouts for all the students, right? And some were places that people went when they were freshmen or sophomores, and then so once the whole town opened up to you, where were like the cool hangouts for bars or restaurants that the upperclassmen went to?
Yeah. So actually, those you could go there too for when you are 21. They're bars, but definitely the sandbar was kind of, once you turn 21, that's where you go. That's where you celebrate. You get on their bar. They sing happy birthday to you. It's pretty small, but it's such a fun bar. They have great music. It's kind of all oldies and stuff. So that was really exciting. All of the main drag downtown is called Mass Street. And that's really where you go when you're 21 and you can finally drink down there. So yeah, it's so fun down there. It's an amazing little strip of places, restaurants, bars, everything.
Now, would there be a shuttle system that went into town, or could you walk, or was it all Uber, or how did that work?
There was a shuttle, but I feel like that it didn't come around very often. So we mostly Ubered or walked, but it's really not far to walk. But sometimes after a long night, you're like, okay, let's just get home. Let's Uber. And the Ubers are like $5, $6. Like it's nothing crazy. So it was really fine for all of us to Uber. Yeah.
All right, so if I go to Lawrence, where do I have to stop and eat? Where's that local place that just, oh man, that food's outstanding and it's like a Jayhawk tradition?
Yeah. Definitely a Jayhawk tradition. I would stop at Jefferson's. They have a ton of just KU everywhere. They have dollar bills on the wall. It's just a tradition. Burger stand. This is all on Mass Street too. Limestone is one of my favorites. It's like a oven pizza place, like a wood fire oven. And then for Chinese, Encore. That is always a favorite. And those are probably the four best places that I would go to for food. Like amazing. I love them. Yeah.
All right, so if you wouldn't mind sharing with everyone, what's this whole Rock Chalk Jayhawk and the whole motto and song and all that? Share with us, because I'm sure you know it and could like bark it out.
Yeah, so all of our buildings are made of limestone. So I'm not really sure exactly how they went to the whole rock chalk thing, but it's all has to do with the building. So they're all just beautiful old buildings just made of limestone. And that's where it came from. I wish I knew more of the story, honestly. They probably told us at freshman orientation or something. But I know some of my friends could tell you this too, but all I know is that all of the buildings are made from limestone, and that is where it originated from. So, yeah, rock chalk always. But
So during either a football game or a basketball game, were there any student section traditions that you guys would either do a song, a chant, I mean, anything cool like that?
yeah, right before every game, every football game, every basketball game, we sing the alma mater, and we just like put our arms around each other and like sway back and forth and sing it. And then they do like a hype song for us all, and we're just jumping up and down. And then when they announce the players for our team, everybody throws a little newspaper in the air, and it's just wild. The beginning of a basketball game is one of my favorite things. It is just exhilarating. You're sitting there so excited, like goosebumps. You're just so excited. I'm gonna miss that one of the most things, definitely.
Yeah, and your state, and people don't realize that the your basketball coliseum is kind of old. It's like this old building.
Oh
It's kind of iconic.
yeah, definitely. It is. It has so much character. Every building is pretty old, but the character is just unreal. And everyone comes together. It's always a packed house. Like, oh, it's just amazing in there.
So, is there a favorite game as a fan that you remember that you're like, oh, that was the greatest? I mean, the energy, people were just going crazy.
Yeah. Um, I think it was our sophomore year. We played West Virginia, and that was a game I will never ever forget. Like, oh my gosh, it was. I think that was the one where we broke the world's loudest arena too. So the world record or whatever.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but yeah, I think that was sophomore year, and it was just unreal. We came back from like 14 points down in the last like 2 minutes. It was unreal. I don't know how they did it, but they pulled it off, and then everyone just the crowd was going nuts, and we won. So it was amazing. Yeah.
Now, did you travel to any of the NCAA basketball playoff games? Was there a group of students that went?
They they definitely had tickets for students. I never put in the running. Usually it was a lot of them were over like our spring break or something, or they're just kind of too far to travel.
Yeah.
But there was always the tournament, the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. So that's only an hour away. And I know some of my friends would go, but I never had the chance to go because they always had like a limited amount of tickets. So you put in your name and then you might get it. So
Sure. So obviously, I'm sure being your senior year was kind of a disappointment because Kansas had an outstanding team again this year. Tell me about
yeah.
where you were, the quarantine, how that affected you, and kind of how that affected your friends and graduation.
Yeah. So since I was student teaching, I actually had a different spring break than KU. So mine was a week later. So I was in Florida with my parents, and then all of this kind of hit the fan, and we canceled our flights and ended up driving back here. And schools were canceled for the rest of the semester and everything. And so I was home until like I want to say like May 4th or something like that. And all my friends decided to go back to Kansas and celebrate graduation and just do the rest of our college right there with just our people, which was so amazing and so fun. We love our house and all of our friends. So we were able to celebrate graduation just with no parents, kind of. So it was just us. We walked through our campanile because that's a tradition that once you graduate, you walk under the campanile. So we got to do that. We put our cap and gowns on, got our pictures taken, did the whole thing just with us, because that's all we could do really. And I'm so lucky that we were able to do that. My dad was actually able to come down for one night and do one last celebration with me and my friends because he had to help me move some stuff out. So that was really fun too. But yeah, I was there for like 3 weeks, and it was probably my favorite 3 weeks. Like, we just made the best of every moment, celebrated our accomplishments, and I am going to miss that place so much. So it was really bittersweet.
Yeah, and you know what? In talking to some other seniors, not that you guys don't enjoy having us down, the parents, around campus, but some people thought that graduation and that whole last few weeks was probably a little bit more fun with their friends just doing whatever you're going to do than having us old farts around for a ceremony.
Yeah, I just think was a little it would have been really stressful with all of our parents there and just organizing everything. So it was just a bittersweet day. It was so fun. So we just did it like we would have, but without everybody there. Yeah.
Now, did KU do something online? Did they postpone graduation to maybe later in the summer, or you guys get to go back for another graduation date? I mean, how did they handle that?
So they did online commencement, and we watched that before we kind of celebrated that day, and it was really special and it was super organized and nice. But they also gave us the option to go to the graduation in December or next May. But honestly, I feel like we celebrated our graduation, and other than my parents being there, I don't feel the need to like go back and go through it with the next class. So we just kind of made the best of it. And KU gave us the option, so that's really awesome. But that just sounds like a lot of people that I'm just like, I don't know if that's gonna work out so well. So yeah.
No, great. So then go back now to your freshman year on campus, right? And how did
Yeah.
you, because obviously your group of friends is very fun loving, gregarious. You guys enjoyed having a good time, and but yet you also were there to get your college degrees, right? So how did you handle that
Yeah.
balance, and what did you do to kind of help with the rigors of your academics?
Yeah, well, freshman year, it definitely takes a minute to get used to balancing that, because all you want to do is have fun, go out, and enjoy your friends. But I found it freshman year, it was a blessing to not have a job right away, because then it gave me that kind of help to balance going to the gym, eating healthier, just balancing friends and everything. So I would really like go to class in the morning, come back, probably take a nap, honestly, and then we just having a group of friends to sit in the study rooms with was probably my favorite thing to do. Even though we obviously goofed around a little bit, we still got all of our stuff done, and having people to do it with made it much more enjoyable. And it was like you were hanging out. You weren't missing out on anything, but you were also getting your work done. And then there was plenty of nights where I just stayed up late and studied in my room. I had to lock myself in there by myself or something. But we made it. It was a big adjustment. And then when I got a job sophomore year, being busy like that almost helped me more, because then I would have to like cram in the time to do my homework or sit on campus and get work done in between classes or something, because there's always a place for you to go in between your classes. So just finding that balance for you and whatever works, that's as much as I got.
Now, what did you do for your job was it on campus? Was it off campus? What was your college job?
Yeah, I worked on campus at the Union at a coffee shop, and I loved that. It was so much fun, and I met some great people, and it was just overall so fun, and I loved keeping busy like that. It was really nice.
So I'm sure you probably had your friends coming out and let's go harass Renee at the Union,
Yeah, always ready to give out free coffee.
Now, what was tell us about your union, or you know what, a lot of, if there's anyone in high school, they might not even realize what a union is, and most college campuses have one. Why don't you share what a union is and kind of your makeup of restaurants and activities and all that's at the union?
Yeah, so our union was kind of just like the heart of where you kind of start off if you're coming to visit, or there's a lot of informational places for you to go. We have some auditoriums in there that I know that's where freshman year or orientation, that's where you all started. And then we had a coffee shop. We had a little market that was full of different restaurants and options of food. Then we had a Panda Express that turned into a Chick-fil-A a couple years later. And the bookstore was down there. It was just this big building of different floors. There was HR was there. I'm trying to think what else. There was like a lobby that you could kind of just study in, hang out in. There was like a little coffee nook that you could get. But it's really just the heart of campus. If you really needed anything, you could go there. There's an informational desk. I really love the Union. I think it's great. It's a very welcoming community in there. Beautiful building. And yeah, I would just say the heart of any campus, really. So.
Now, did you work at a Starbucks, or was it your own little house brand there on campus?
Yeah, it was called the Roastery. So it was a Kansas City brand of kind of a Starbucks. So, yeah.
Oh, nice. So, for people that don't know, Kansas City just has amazing barbecue, right? So, any favorites for anyone because I'm sure you guys hung out in Kansas City quite a bit. I think you guys are about 40 minutes away or whatever, right? What were the barbecue hot spots that you and your friends would hit, or that you dragged your parents to maybe because it was a little bit more expensive?
Yeah, definitely. I remember my dad and I went to Jack Stack, I think it's called, and they messed up our whole order. We got like triple the food, and that was so fun because it was just the two of us. We got to try everything. It was amazing. That one's something you want to drag your parents to. It was a little it's nicer, so I definitely dragged Ernie there. Joe's Barbecue is very known. It is next to a gas station, so it's kind of like a hole in the wall, but it's amazing. That's like the place to go. And just all over, like Q39 is another place, but everywhere it tastes amazing wherever you go. So it's fun to try different places like that and make your trip out there.
So does that mean you've become a Kansas City Chiefs fan now?
No. It's really fun to watch them and cheer for them and do the parades and all of that with them, but no.
Now, did you go to the Super Bowl celebration down there? Did you take part in all that?
I actually did not. My school, we had school that day, so we weren't able to participate, but we got to storm our kind of downtown area the night they won. So we just ran down to Mass Street, and people were going crazy. They were on like all of the light posts and everything, climbing up them and breaking down signs and everything. So that's something I'll never forget too.
And I'm
Definitely.
sure you broke your dad's heart because I think, and I could be wrong, isn't your family big Packer fans, or am I mistaken?
No, we're Bears fans.
All right, I'm just making sure here.
Yeah.
Now, so how long did you live on campus? And then did you eventually move off campus? What was kind of the housing situation like? And then what were your dorms like while you lived on campus?
Yeah, so freshman year we lived on campus in a dorm, and I had one roommate, and I loved her to death. We shared like one big room, and then we had our own bathroom. So that was really fun. That dorm, I think you could either live with one other person or you could have 4 people total in a room. Our dorm was super nice. It was brand new. Um, the lobby connected 2 dorms, so then you could get into both of them. We lived on, we called it the hill, so then it was like a little farther from campus, but it was an easy walk through a neighborhood. And then sophomore and junior year, I lived at an apartment, which had a pool and everything. It was super fun, super nice. We kind of got sick of the apartment vibes by the end of junior year, so we ended up living in a duplex this year. And we had our guy friends downstairs and then us girls upstairs, so that was so fun. We were always together. I loved living in a house. I wish we would have done it earlier. We had our own little balcony and everything, and it was right next to campus. Like, we weren't far from campus ever. So, and our apartments junior and sophomore year were right off campus too. So I was always right there. So that was really something that I enjoyed, definitely.
Now, were any of that group of friends, any XPR people that were in that group as well, or not?
Yeah, Dylan Stenzel was with us throughout it all. He lived in the here apartments sophomore year, and then they moved off campus, and then they lived downstairs below us this year. So yeah, he
Oh,
was
got
one
it.
that we stuck with.
Oh, well, that's fun. So,
Yeah.
10 years from now, I always ask this question, and I guess now that you're going to be at South, I mean, that's it. You've made your dream. You just want to grow and kind of enjoy your first graders, right? But where are you going to be living? What's life going to look like otherwise? What are some of your other goals and ambitions as you look forward?
Wow, that is a loaded question. I haven't really thought that far, but I would love to kind of be settled down. Like, I don't know if I want to necessarily spend my whole life in Crystal Lake, but I wouldn't mind it. I love Crystal Lake so much, and raising a family here has always been a dream of mine. But with my sister moving to Colorado and everything, I don't know where my friends are going to be and everything, so I'm definitely up in the air. I would love to just keep building my career, get my master's, keep going to school throughout, and just getting different
Certifications.
what is the word I'm looking for? Yes, yeah, thank you. Yeah, but in 10 years, I guess we'll see where I am, because I have really no idea. But right now, I am so content here for the time being, and I'm so excited that I am with D47, so I'm really excited.
Now, how many first graders are you going to have?
I don't know that question, but I would assume like 20 to 25, around that area.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Now, how many first grade classes are at South?
There's 3 total.
3.
So
Okay.
yeah, there's 2 other teachers. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So now if we think back to your time at Prairie Ridge, how do you feel, did Prairie Ridge prepare you for what you're in for at Kansas, or how did that process go in transition?
Yeah, I feel like PR really sets you up for college. They are always just pushing you to do your best, throwing all the supports at you that they can. They are each one of those teachers is beyond caring, and they just want you to succeed, to do your best. And they really want to make you realize that college isn't just, you can't just sit back and relax kind of thing. They want you to realize that it is hard work. It takes hard work and time and effort. And I think they really help you realize that throughout all 4 years. And then, of course, the counselors and Miss Steiner are always there for you. They are just there to support you. And if you have any questions, which helps so much because you go in there, especially us being the first of your family to go to college, there's a million questions. You have no idea what you're getting into and what to do and even how to apply places and things like that. So just having that, letters of rec, and having teachers read over your applications and your paragraphs and things like that is so helpful. And they're all just there for you, just the whole school, really.
So it sounds like Mrs. Steiner played a role in that. Did she really help you kind of sift through all the different colleges?
I mean, yeah, I think she's just there for everybody. She is always available, always welcome. Her door is always open. And yeah, she's there for the whole entire school. Yeah.
Now, when you look back on faculty that you kind of encountered, who were some of your favorites that just have made a lasting impact on you to this day?
Yeah. I think Mr. Wadlington definitely kept me going, kept me kind of straightened me out a little bit. I was always a little wild, so he was always a fun, playful teacher that just really goofed around with us, made us know that we were people to them instead of just students, you know. Miss Lashway was also amazing. I think she's a counselor there now, but when she was our teacher, I absolutely adored her. I looked up to her. She was a role model for me. She was always there giving her kind words, her advice. She was amazing. And I can't even think, there's so many. Mr. Carl Bloom was amazing. He was so fun. Miss Powell, she was amazing. We, sophomore year, I think it was, we wrote a letter to our future selves for 5 years, and I got that last year from her, and I was just like, holy cow, she did that for us. It was amazing to read that letter. I thought I was going to be a nurse at that time. It's crazy to look back and have that. That made me want to do something for my kids one day like that. So yeah, all of the teachers there, I could thank them all. They're amazing.
Oh, that's awesome, and I'm sure they played an impact on what you're doing today as well with teaching.
Oh
So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
so I in the last couple of years, Prairie Ridge talks about once a wolf, always a wolf. And I know that wasn't as prevalent when your class was there, but when you hear that, what does that mean to you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that was a saying, and I will always think that. I mean, it's in my backyard. I will always be a big fan of PR. Even walking through the parking lot, I just love that place. It's a piece of home, and it always will be. And I would love to go in there too, like to walk around and see teachers again. But to me, that really just means that they'll always be there for us to support us. We're a family, and we always will be. The whole community just comes together. I'll always want to go to the football games on Friday nights, see the lights and everything, and cheer them on.
So with you had mentioned different members of your family throughout the conversation. Why don't you take a minute and kind of tell us who the members of your family are, what they're up to, their names, and go from there.
Yeah, so my parents are Ernie and Janet. They're doing great. We're getting a lot done around the house during quarantine and everything. So got some goals. My mom was working from home at first during quarantine, and now she's back at work. She works at Boulder Ridge Country Club. So they are actually reopening on Friday. And then my dad has been working at home throughout the whole quarantine. So he's still, and I don't think they're going back anytime soon, even with it opening up and everything. And then my sister Rachel, she is a junior in college now. She's going to Colorado Mountain College. She's leaving tomorrow, actually. I'm really sad. I was trying to get her to stay. She didn't want to. I get it. It's fine. Mountains are calling. But she is going to sustainability, and she's loving it. So I'm really proud of her.
And then where's Colorado Mountain College again?
Oh, Steamboat Springs. So
Yeah, I guess there could be worse places to be in the summer. Wow, what a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Santis might have a vacation planned to Steamboat Springs this summer.
Oh, yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Now, obviously, in your case, things are still up in the air with when schools are going to be opening and what that's going to look like. What kind of tentatively would be your start date for District 47? Is that like sometime first week in August, or how's that work?
Yeah, so my first day would be August 16th, I think it was. And then the first day of school was the 20th. But with all of this going on, I really hope that sticks or something. So I hope they tell us something soon, even what they're kind of leaning towards or anything. Because I would really love for my first year of teaching to be in person. So hopefully that really works out. But
yeah, and especially it seems like the little kids, the first graders, they're much more physical, tactile. They like giving their teacher a hug and all that stuff. And just knowing you, I'm sure that would be something you would really relish and enjoy as you're going to kind of brood over all these little ones. So
yeah, it's definitely not the same over Zoom.
Yeah.
So
now, if you were talking to a bunch of high school kids who are preparing to go off to college, what would be any words of advice or wisdom that you'd have for them, or maybe some learnings that you took away that would be beneficial?
Yeah. My biggest thing is just be open-minded to everything and everyone, because you really don't know what you're getting into at first. You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know what you're going to like. You could change like so much and just flourish as a person. So I would just be so open-minded and willing to try new things. My other big piece of advice would be always to call home. Call your grandma, call your mom, call your dad, call your sister, call them all. Because I think that helped me so much, just telling them about my day. They love that. So do that. And really find your own balance, because it is definitely hard at first. But once you find that balance, you're just rocking and rolling. It just, you get in a groove and you get in a routine and you flourish. So that's definitely my advice.
Awesome. No, that's great advice. And I really appreciate you taking the time today, Renee. You're an outstanding example of the class of 2016 and the class of 2020. And I know your heart, and you definitely have picked the right career, and you are just going to be amazing as a first grade teacher. So just wish you the best of luck, and really hope that you enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was so kind. Yeah, this was great. I'm really glad I was able to do it, and we found a time, so that worked really well.
Awesome.
Everybody just